Hey everyone, it's Mirella Manelli here, and today I'm going to show you how to do a reverse balayage using all Kenra Professional hair color. So stay tuned and check it out. This is my model Ashlyn, and she's really looking to add dimension back into her hair. It's been about 4 months since she last got a service done, and she got a glaze, and now you can see it's faded out and it's starting to look more like an ombre. So what we're going to do is go in and do a reverse balayage. Because she has previously lightened ends, I'm going to go in with Kenra Professional Simply Blonde Beyond Bond Lightener, and then in between her foils to add depth, I'm going to use Kenra Professional Demi Permanent Hair Color. Before I mix up any color, I'm going to section Ashlyn's hair. And I really want her natural hairline fall. So the best way to tackle this is by lifting up the entire front section of her hair and then just shaking whatever falls out. And then I'm going to clip the front pieces and save them for later. Because Ashlyn has fine hair, I want to give the illusion that she has more hair than what she has. So in order to do this, I'm going to make sure the underside has enough depth, which is why I'm going to section her hair into a V section, but going from the occipital up to the center. Since Ashlyn has had lightener on her ends before, I want to make sure her hair stays in great condition, which is why I'm going in with Simply Blonde Beyond Bond Lightener at a 1:2 ratio with 20 volume developer. This lightener is going to give me the added protection it needs with its inner and outer bond technology. To start my reverse balayage technique, I'm going to create 2 back-to-back chunky foliage sections. I do this by taking a thin slice first for added control, and then weave 3 chunky, uneven pieces. I apply my lightener about 3 inches from the scalp and then feather it up. I find that using a paintbrush type of brush for my application helps achieve the blend I'm looking for, but you can use whatever type of brush you like using best. I apply a thin layer of lightener on the ends and finally trifold all my foils so that the lightener on the ends do not touch the top part of my application. To give that balayage effect, I make sure to feather up a little higher on the exterior of the foil and a little lower in the interior. However, I would really focus on making sure when feathering up that you use your creativity on how you want to visually see your blonde fall. I do the same thing to the other side, taking a thin slice of uneven chunks and use my foliage technique with my brush, foil, and lightener until I complete a total of 4 foils, 2 on each side of my upside down V sections in the back. Just remember when doing a foliage technique that you want your weaved sections uneven and your application to vary. Brush your lightener up a little higher in some areas and a little lower in others, giving the illusion of a balayage application, therefore giving a really natural look. On the sides, I'm taking a horizontal section, starting right behind the clipped away hairline, and then all the way back to the back section. I make sure my sections are weaved and uneven, and I still apply my lightener as if I were going to do an open air balayage, but in a foil. In these sections, you can see the lightener is higher on the exterior and vertically comes down, which will make the end result appear as if it were hair painted. I apply 2 back-to-back foils, making sure my section is not wider than my foil. If you find your section is wider, just simply split it into 2 different foils in the same section. Next, I focus on the hairline. I take my time doing this part because it's that part that your client will see first, and it's all about the details. I start on the bottom half and weave out the front by pulling the entire section away from her face and weave a baby light toward her face. I continue to move back in a vertical section with 1/8-inch subsections in between, weaving baby lights and applying my lightener at the root and down. I apply a total of 3 vertical foils at the bottom half of her hairline. A hair tip when working with the hairline is to take your time. This is the most important part of the entire service because your client is going to see it. So make sure to have extra clips on hand to clip away any little flyaways so you have a nice, clean working space. I am using Ashlyn's natural part when doing the money piece, which is right down the middle.
Using this parting will help create a slight angle, which is perfect when she wears her hair down. To get started on her hairline, I take the entire section and pull it away from her face and do a baby light by weaving them towards her face. I take the lightener all the way to the roots and down. The reason I do this is usually because clients desire brightness around the face and longevity of the brightness. Even though you may do a root smudge or a shadow root with your toner later, the toner will gradually fade out, leaving your client with brighter hair that's not so grown out around her face. I complete this section with another back-to-back baby light and then my third one with a minimal subsection. Now that I have my perimeter completed, I'm going to start bricklayering each of my partings, completing 2 uneven chunky foliage foils. I start on the sides again with horizontal foils, meeting the partings to the previous foil, and then move to the back, continuing with 2 more horizontal foils. By creating these types of partings, I am also creating depth in the triangular sections below, with a wider base right behind the highlight and then a more narrow one at the base, making the depth seamlessly disappear. To finish off her look, I'm doing just a few rooted baby lights right at the top for a nice blend that will be really easy to maintain but still give a little added brightness even though we're adding depth back in. Just keep in mind of your client's natural part. So for Ashlyn, I made sure that her baby light sits right behind her natural part so that her highlight is not directly visible. Now that her foils are completed, I need to add the depth back in. So I mixed up Kenra Color Demi-Permanent 7NA at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 9 volume developer. I made sure to thoroughly saturate her mids and ends in between each foil. I chose 7NA because it's slightly lighter than her natural color and it will still give a beautiful light reflection even though we are making it darker.
Now that we're all done applying her foils and demi-permanent hair color, we're just gonna process her for about 20 minutes room temperature and then get ready to put on her final glaze.
Now that she's done processing, I thoroughly shampooed out her hair color and then mixed up 2 different formulas. For her shadow root, I mixed up 7NA at a 1:2 mixing ratio, which is the same formula as the depth we added in, and then SV Rapid Toner at a 1:2 mixing ratio. I applied 7NA to her entire root area, bringing it down a little further toward the top and the back. I applied her hairline and money piece last, and only tapped it into her roots so that she has the most lightness possible around her hairline. I processed this part for 10 minutes, and then applied my SV Rapid Toner, blending the 2 formulas where they meet, and then processed for 3 minutes.
And here is the final result on how to do a reverse balayage using all Kenra color. So just to recap, what we went in with her foliage was Kenra Professional Simply Blonde Beyond Bond Lightener at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 20 volume developer. And then in between her foils, we used Kenra Color Demi-Permanent 7NA at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 9 volume developer, and then processed her for 20 minutes. And for her final glaze, we went in with a color melt formula of 7NA right into Silver Violet Rapid Toner at a 1:2 mixing ratio with 9 volume developer, and then processed her for 3 minutes. So I really hope you enjoyed this hair tutorial, and if you did, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time.